Hello, dear young learners, students. I know that you enjoy the stories, and this month we have a wonderful folktale classic called The Elves and the Shoemaker. I'm sure you like elves, and I'm sure you're going to love this story too because there is a surprise in the end and the homework for you as well. So let's get ready for the story. There we go. The name of the story again, it's The Elves and the Shoemaker. It is a folktale classic, so it's a classic like The Three Little Pigs or Little Red Riding Hood and so on and so forth. And it's the story of elves here pictured and a shoemaker. Do you know what a shoemaker does? There we go. This is where the shoemaker works. The shoemaker works in the shoemaker workshop. This is a beautiful one, right? There are so many shoes. And we have a shoemaker here working. So let's go. There once was a shoemaker who, through no fault of his own, became so poor at last he had nothing left but just enough leather to make one pair of shoes. He cut out the shoes at night so he could set to work on them the next morning. So there we go, the shoemaker working on his leather. Because he had a good conscience, the shoemaker laid himself down in his bed and fell asleep at once. In the morning, after he had his prayers, the shoemaker went to his workshop. There he found a pair of shoes made and finished, and standing on his table, he was very much astonished and could not tell what to think. He took the shoes in his hand to examine them more carefully. They were so well made that every stitch was in the right place, just as if they had come from the hand of a master workman. Soon a customer entered, and as the shoes fitted him very well, he paid more than the usual price for them. Now the shoemaker had enough money to buy leather for 2 more pairs of shoes. He cut them out at night and intended to set to work the next morning with fresh spirit. But that was not to be, for when he got up, the 2 pair of shoes were already finished. A customer soon bought them and gave the shoemaker so much money that he was able to buy enough leather for 4 more pairs of shoes. Early the next morning, he found the 4 pairs finished also, and so it always happened. Whatever the shoemaker cut out in the evening was finished by the morning, and soon he was making a very good living. One night, not before Christmas, when the shoemaker had finished cutting out the shoes from the leather, he turned to his wife before he went to bed and said, "Hey, how would it be if we were to stay up all night and see who it is that does all this service to us?" His wife agreed, of course, and set a candle to burn. Then they both hid in a corner of the room behind some coats where they were hanging. They picked out between the coats and began to watch. As soon as it was midnight, it came 2 neatly formed naked little elves. They seated themselves on the shoemaker's table, took up the work that was already prepared, and began to stitch, pierce, and hammer the leather. The elves worked so cleverly and quickly with their little fingers that the shoemaker's eye could scarcely follow them. So full of wonder he was. The elves never stopped until all the shoes were finished and were standing ready on the table. Then they jumped and ran off. The next morning, the shoemaker's wife said to her husband, "Those elves have made us rich, and we ought to show them how grateful we were. With all their running about and nothing to cover them, they must be very cold." She smiled. "I tell you what, I will make little shirts, little coats, little waistcoats and breeches for them, and knit each of them a pair of stockings, and you shall make them a pair of shoes." The husband consented willingly, and that night, when everything was finished, they laid the gifts on the table instead of the cut-out leather. Then they hid themselves so that they could observe how the elves behaved when they saw their presents. Do you think the elves are going to be happy when they see their presents? At the stroke of midnight, the elves rushed in, ready to set to work. But when they found the neat little clothes made just for them, they stood a moment in surprise, and then they showed the greatest delight. Look at that, guys. We've got little clothes for the little elves, little pairs of shoes, little coats, little waistcoats. Oh, that's so cute. Quickly, they took up the pretty garments and slipped them on, singing and very, very happy. They hopped and danced about, jumping over the chairs and tables, and at last they danced out the door. From that time on, the elves were never to be seen again. But the shoemaker and his wife prospered as long as they lived. And that's the end of the story. And you know what happens? I found out that there is a dance, there is a shoemaker dance that children in many, many countries, they celebrate and dance in the school. So there is a video here, and a teacher is teaching the children how to dance the shoemaker song. And here on the other side, we've got the song. I'm gonna sing it to you, and then I'll show you the video, okay? So the song is just like that. I'm a shoemaker. I'm a shoemaker. 4 times. I'm a shoemaker and stitching. I'm a shoemaker. Now faster. I make shoes just this way. I make shoes, I work all day. I'm a shoemaker. I'm a shoemaker. When at last the work is done, I sing and dance with everyone. When at last the work is done, I'm a shoemaker. And that's the song. And you can dance, and you will see the children, they dance about in the classroom. And this video is very recent, so you will see the teacher wearing the mask. Shall we watch it? I hope you like it.
Boys and girls, I would like to teach you the shoemaker dance. Now we know that the shoemaker uses some tools like the hammer and nails and a shoe mold and a burnisher to file and smooth the leather and a brush to brush off the leather. But he also uses something else. Take a good look at your shoe. Everybody look closely at one of your shoes. Does it look like someone has sewn on your shoe? Almost all shoes have some kind of stitching that's done by someone with a needle and thread or a sewing machine. The cobbler did not have a sewing machine a long time ago. So pull out your needle and thread. Everybody look, hold your needle. It's very tiny, so you have to hold it like this. Pull out your leather, and we're going to sew. Put the needle through the leather like this, and pull the thread out, and put it in, and pull it out. You've got it. That's all you need to know to do the shoemaker dance. Here we go. Let me share my song with you. Ooh, hang on, I'm looking for it. There it is. Let's sew, blow, and smooth. Put the needle in, pull it through. Get your hammer ready. Do what I do. Do what I do.
I work all day, I make shoes just this way. I'm a shoemaker. When at last the work is done, I sing and dance with everyone. When at last the work is done, I'm a shoemaker. When at last the work is done, I sing and dance with everyone. When at last the work is done, I'm a shoemaker.
Whoa. Do what I do.
I'm a shoemaker.
Hands are in your lap.
That's nice, isn't it? I just love this song because it is very quiet and then it gets really, really fast. You can try at home, and this is the challenge for you at home. So your home challenge is the following. I would like you to try and sing and dance the shoemaker song. Film it, record it, and send it to your teacher. I'm sure it's gonna be great, and you're gonna have lots of fun dancing at home and trying to sing and doing all the movements. And that's it. That's this month's storytelling time. You will find the audio of the story in the podcast Julie Tells. And of course, this video will be in our YouTube channel. So I hope you have enjoyed it and see you next time.